Family Resource Center has been around from 2008, but actually the entities that make it up have been around for much longer. We used to be the Women's Resource Center, the National Parenting Program, and the Young Parents Program. In 2008, it all came together to form the Family Resource Center, and we are under the Department of Counseling Services as one of the agencies that helps the community. In the continuum of care, we're seen as the least intensive. We do a lot of skill building, a lot of awareness raising. It's really, if you look at the change process, we're right at that, getting people to see, oh, maybe there is something I can do different, or there are services available for me. So we really try to be out there in the community, let them see us as accessible and fun and not scary, and try to remove some of that stigma with accessing help.
Some people prefer a group setting because there's less attention on the individual. They can choose to interact if they would like to. They could choose to just listen to other person's feedback. So sometimes you can learn from other people's experiences as well. So group settings helps them to sometimes feel like, I'm not the only person that's having this experience. And so they share and learn from each other. We always like to say that we're facilitators and not sort of teachers or lecturers, and so we like to put that onus back on the family and say, hey, you guys are the experts in your family. So what we try to do is give you sort of a menu of options, lots of tools and tips that you could use, and then hopefully you could take away what you feel suits your family, your circumstances best, and apply that. We try to make things as interactive as possible because we understand that people have different learning styles. So we use a series of mediums, videos, sometimes PowerPoints, activities, and various things like that.
So because we have such a big range of services, we also have a big range of clients. I mean, sometimes we can have in the same group an individual that's mandated, an individual that's in rehab, and then just Crown Council. That happened just recently. Like we have a great mix of people that access our services because really and truly parenting is something that's challenging for all of us.
For men, I find that it's difficult for us to access services because traditionally we think we have it all together, that we don't have any problems or weaknesses, and it's important to realize that we do encounter challenges and we don't always have all the answers, and that there are services that can help us with these challenges that we encounter. So I find it's more of just like a societal influence, a cultural influence, and like a historical influence of men just trying to always show that they got it all together.
Well, we have parent coaching now available, and what we are doing is offering that to families one-on-one instead of a group experience. So I would meet with the client one-on-one and we would work on strengths, and it's very solution-based, and they learn about how to use their strengths to honor their child, support them so that they have more cooperation, happier children, happier families, and it's based on their goals. And it's not a set amount of time, but it is a journey, it's a process, and it really depends on them learning about themselves, about their children, and learning some skills and problem solving so that they can move forward in solving future problems so that they don't have to keep coming back, but they're more than welcome to if anything crops up and they need a little tweak, but that's what we're here for. So far it's been wonderful. It has been very effective in a very short amount of time. I think the approach that we're using has been very helpful in them understanding their child better and honoring them for who they are and not trying to change them into something they're not. And it also helps the parent understand who they are, their strengths, their challenges, their talents and gifts, and how they can use those to be a better parent.
When parents come and attend a program here, there's the option that they can have childcare. So where they are accessing the content in one room, I work with the kids generally here to do a bunch of different activities. So we do things around social skills, communication, we do lots of different fun activities like arts and craft based, and they also get a little bit of the content as well. So whatever the parents are learning about, we'll kind of learn a little bit about it with me, but more age appropriate.
we have services that are available for youth, for fathers, for young parents, for new parents, for parents that are no longer living together. So whether it's co-parenting or if there's abuse, then parallel parenting. We have a lot of programs that are youth access, because we really believe that a lot of times people have misconceptions of youth, or teens get a bad reputation. But if you really took the time to understand where they're at and what they're about, and giving them an arena to work within, you would see that there's quite a lot of leaders and quite a lot of good that they do.
We have a few programs running for youth. Particularly, we have our Rethink Teen group. It's a group that we encourage teens to come out to and engage in leadership activities. We've run a summer camp before, but we're hoping for it to be more of an ongoing program. When we work with youth, we really try to work with them for them to have their own voice. We really feel that the youth are more than capable to come up with things on their own. We really try to just guide them and facilitate conversations, as we really want to make sure that they're heard. And we really try to make sure that we're paying attention to their stages of development, so that we know that we are delivering the information in an age-appropriate fashion. I think that we've had great results so far. A lot of our programs are really based on social skill building, and the reviews, it really feels really good when we hear teachers, for example, if we go out into the schools and work various workshops or programs there, coming back to us and telling us how they've really seen an improvement in the way that students are interacting with one another. So I think that hopefully we're making some sort of impact there.
We really offer our services to anyone that is needing them, and it's very varied, because you can come in and do parent coaching, or you can have a one-off session, or you can go more intensive into the various groups that we offer. It's really based on what you need as a client.
We definitely see victims accessing these services. We've got the Legal Befriender Service, which is a service that provides free legal advice to individuals in the community, so anyone can access that. And through the service, we've found is that a lot of victims of domestic violence are coming forward and wanting some guidance in regards to how to respond from a legal standpoint to their current situation. Aside from that, we also have our crisis walk-in hours, or our intake hours, and through that, victims are also provided with crisis intervention or advocacy services. In addition to that, we also have our Love Shouldn't Hurt monthly group session, which is an information session, and that provides victims with an opportunity to also become more aware and knowledgeable of their circumstances and how to move forward. It gives them direction, for starters, because oftentimes when they're coming forward, they've been referred from several different agencies, which is a wonderful thing, but at the same time they don't know where to go from here. So it definitely gives them some direction. It makes them feel supported, and understand that there are resources available for them, and that we are definitely here and ready to help them.
Intake is basically, the documentation session of our services. First, we can do the outcome rating scale, so how the person feels, and then we go through the consent for services, so basically our rules and regulations and their rights as well. Then we do the release of information, which is, if they want to exchange information with other people, they can put that on. Then we do the pre-screening intake, and then from there we do the Basis 32, which gets to know them a little bit more and how they've been in the last week. Then if they want parenting services, which we usually provide, we provide the AAPI, which is the adult parenting scale, and see how they are as a parent, whether they're high to low risk, and see where we can go from there.
So the Family Resource Center has grown quite a bit from 2008, and we change all the time, because we're always trying to keep up with what's current and what's needed in the community. And as always, they can contact us at 949-0006, or they can send us an email at frc@gov.ky. We do encourage them to like our Facebook page, because it's a great way to stay in touch with us and everything that's always happening at FRC. And we encourage people in the community to access help and to see it that it's okay, everyone goes through things, and to take advantage of the great free services that are offered at the Family Resource